What's up, everybody? Hello, and welcome. That's right. It's Monday. It is the Mega Rewind. Why is it the Mega Rewind? Hanging with Web Show and myself, we shared a booth this year at MegaCon 2023. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It is Monday. The last 4 days have gone by very quickly, but we had such a good time. So we wanted to touch base, say hello to everybody. What's up, Nathan June? Good to see you, dude. It's almost like a little bit of a fever dream, you know? Those 4 days are very, very long, but they go by very, very quickly. So I believe my good friend GW Pomacher from Hanging with Web is going to be stepping in a little later so we can chat about this weekend. But I wanted to get into it. Last weekend, it was MegaCon weekend, which was a lot of fun. And last week was MegaCon week. What's up, Mama Floyd? Good to see you. So last Monday, we were really fortunate to have our good friends, Chef Dane and Chef Adam Efland, join us from Winter Springs High School Culinary Department. And we had some delicious treats, and we ate them all. They were New Orleans-style barbecue shrimp with a muffaletta egg roll, which was absolutely out of this world. I got to try it again this Saturday night at the event that we had, an Evening Under the Stars, which was fantastic, loaded with incredible people. Friends and family have shown up to support their young culinary students and business-minded creators. So it was such a fun time. We'll get to that. But last Monday, we were really fortunate to have them join us. We also had our good friend Moshi from Moshi Parties join us to say hello. And as he prepped for this MegaCon series of events he had on Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night, which we were very, very fortunate we got to step into the Saturday night official MegaCon after party for a short period of time and be escorted around by Moshi himself as he showed us all just the incredible steps, everything that he had done, these really, really awesome trinkets and designs, the people that he brought in. I mean, it was an incredible party, absolutely incredible party. The technology was mind-blowing. That was this past Saturday. We'll get there. We also had GW and Pomacher step in last Monday as we chatted about MegaCon that was coming up this past week. So a huge shout out to everybody that joined us on the wrap-up. Really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for spending some time with us last week. It was such a fun time. It was great to talk to Moshi and Garrett, have Chef Adam and Chef Dane in here from Winter Springs High School talking about the Evening Under the Stars event. It was a charity event and a fundraiser that happened this past Saturday at Winter Springs High School. They had some really great prizes that they gave out, or gifts. They had a silent auction that was going on. Some great stuff. A 2-night stay at the Omni, Universal tickets, really, really good stuff. Some fantastic silent auction items. So great time last Monday. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Last Tuesday was Mental MegaCon Prep. Our setup was Wednesday night. So last Tuesday was last minute stuff. Get the trailer out, get it loaded, get it tested, get everything put into it. Make sure you're ready to rock and roll. And it is game time. So that was all night Tuesday, just to double check, triple check, quadruple check, make sure we had everything we needed. It was a good week. We were really looking forward to everything. MegaCon did a great job of promoting all of the events that were going on this past weekend. All of the events were promoted really, really well. MegaCon did a great job of managing the number of people that they had, the number of tickets they had. They did a great job at managing parking. They just did a really good job, and it was a lot. And I got to say, it's people that have never experienced a convention from the exhibitor side, it's fun, but it is arduous. We get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we don't leave sometimes till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And those 12 hours, they're not really break time. You're working hard. So we had a good week. It was really great. The Wednesday night setup was awesome. Really, really excited to work with Hanging With again. It was good to see them. Last year, they weren't able to make it. They had a family event that they had to attend. But this year they were back. It was good to see Garrett, Sage, Gina, Steven. Everybody was there. Cosplay Michael making it happen on Wednesday night. Mike Conway, Jess B, and myself ventured over to the North Concourse of the Orlando Convention Center this year, where on Saturday alone they had over 170,000 people come by MegaCon, which was awesome. There wasn't a single record, a KitchenKillaz record, that was not broken this weekend. And I would go as far as to say there probably wasn't a Hanging With record that wasn't broken this weekend either. Good team. I've known Hanging With for almost 10 years now, so it was really great to work with them and get everything squared away. We have some pictures of our setup. We have pictures of MegaCon. We have pictures of pretty much every day. So let's jump into it as we wait for the great GW Pomature to arrive. So this is a couple of the shots from our setup. Really, really great space here. We got to share a 20 by 20 with Hanging With. This is the second time that we've been able to use every single board that we had for the kitchen itself. So we were really, really fortunate. We had enough room for 2 6-foot tables, the Bose Tower on the left-hand side. We even had a performance area over by the refrigerator. And this was just a little cheesecake snapshot that Jess B snagged. This is where we were, hanging with Web Show, KitchenKillaz, booth 2183. Making it happen, baby. We met some great people along the way this weekend, some incredible creators, and just some fantastic friends. This young gentleman has been a singer for a really, really long time. He's worked with Publix for a really, really long time, and he belted a couple notes in front of the table, and then he came back about 30 seconds later and asked if it was okay if he sang a little bit more for us. So I asked him if he wanted to jump on the microphone and sing a little bit for everybody. We had the Bose Tower up and rocking. So this young gentleman, very, very good. So awesome. Super passionate, great voice. Stepped in and sang a little bit of a cappella for MegaCon this year. And a very, very brave thing to do. And no joke, I mean, we were in prime location and you could be heard from this Bose for far, far, far. A lot of distance. My good friend Jason Rigglesworth. I've actually known Jason for well over a decade. We used to work at Outback together. He walked up. I didn't recognize him in the very, very beginning. He said, "You're Billy Floyd." And I thought I was in trouble, but I was not. It was the great Riggs. And we have now reconnected, which is so fantastic. He was one of my favorite people that I got to spend some time with at Outback. Always a hard and diligent worker. So it really was wonderful to be able to hang out and spend a little time with him. You know, we had a really good time seeing everybody. It was like a family reunion. Here's a good setup shot of the great Mike Conway helping us set up these walls. My man Stephen Pomature making it happen, baby. And just a good team. We had a great team this year. You know, a lot of people hard at work. Ghostbusters were in the house, baby, making it happen. This was our setup. The great G-Dubs, my man Stephen, Mike Conway, Jess B on the camera. I have no idea what this is going to sound like. Let's find out. This is the sound of MegaCon. The sounds of MegaCon. This is my good friend Larry McLaughlin, his lovely lady Dina. They always rock it, man. And they have a lot of fun with Lonely Island. So this is a part of a performance that they were walking around the entire floor of MegaCon, Bluetooth speaker in hand, dressed to the nines, making it happen. That's my man Thomas Carter Rochester, throwing it up, getting out there, dancing it up. So this is the song by Lonely Island called Three-Way. And they're just having a good time, man. They did such a great job. Such a good time, man. Really great seeing Larry McLaughlin. Great seeing everybody. We had such a good time this past weekend. The content was fantastic. The people were great. I would say this is probably hands down my favorite MegaCon. This is my good friend Jordan. So I met Jordan there. He walked up to me and he says, "Wait a minute, KitchenKillaz." He goes, "Do you know Biggie Bencomo, UCF Biggie?" And I said, "Absolutely, man. That's Daily Fresh Threads. That's absolutely 100%, man. That's my boy." He goes, "Hey, I heard your interview with them, and it was really awesome, and I just wanted to talk to you and see if you were that guy. And my name's Jordan. I have a T-shirt line called Plastic Pizza." And I said, "Right on, dude. That's awesome." He goes, I was also interviewed by Biggie, and I gotta tell you, man, he was one of my biggest inspirations, and he motivated me to start Plastic Pizza. So if you guys find Plastic Pizza on Instagram, you'll see this entire line of clothing that Jordan came up with. Given the encouragement and the drive by Anthony Bencomo, also known as Biggie, also known as Daily Fresh Threads. That's why I rock a Daily Fresh Friday shirt every Friday. Is to support people like Anthony, support people like Jordan, support the individual creators, just to support the community. And this is a great example of us being able to meet each other, spend some time with each other, and kind of be brought in by the same community. Anthony Bencomo's no joke. He's had Daily Fresh Threads for 10 years, and now my man Jordan has started Plastic Pizza. So I took the shot, posted on stories, and I messaged Biggie, and I shot him this, and he said, man, I love Jordan. I said, dude, I don't know if he told you this, but he told me that you were one of his biggest inspirations that motivated him to start Plastic Pizza. And Anthony said, actually, I didn't know that, man. Thank you so much for letting me know that. I had no idea. So it goes to show you never really know how many people in the world you inspire. And I've been saying this for years. You will never know. You will never have every person that you motivate or move or inspire come up and tell you the impact that you've had on their life. That you're just never going to hear it. Just assume that your interactions are impactful. You are motivating people. You are inspiring people. So when somebody comes to you and they're excited about something, do not douse their flame, man. You want to give that some wind. You want to flame that fire, baby. You know what I mean? So this is a great example of that. My friend Jordan, inspired by Biggie Bencomo, started his own clothing line called Plastic Pizza, based on his love for plastic pizza, his love for his own design and clothing line, and meeting Biggie Bencomo and Deli Fresh Threads motivated him to be able to manage that and create his own company. So a huge shout out to Jordan and Plastic Pizza. As you can see him sporting a Plastic Pizza shirt right there. I'm rocking a little KK, of course, and just having a great time. It was great meeting Jordan. What a good dude. I'm excited to have him step on the show soon. Here's a great shot of Mike Conway as Guts, baby. And this was KitchenKillaz Got Guts. So if you don't know this is an anime character. This is Mike Conway cosplaying Guts, G-U-T-S, and he built everything that you see here. Aside from this single brown belt right here, I think he made himself and built from scratch. He 3D printed it, he resin printed it, he wrapped it, he upgraded everything time and time and time again. So I was really happy to have Mike Conway join us. He was able to help us get everything transferred over there, set up, and then he absolutely crushed this Guts cosplay on Saturday. So fantastic to see Mike there. Great shot. Just spending some time, having a good time, and enjoying each other's company, and just this incredible community we got to be a part of. This is my love for the Knight Industries 2000. So this is a 1982 Trans Am that was modified. It used to be white with red seats, and I have now met the owner, Chris, who has spent the last decade converting this to a Knight Industries 2000 kit, K-I-T-T, Knight Industries 2000, the Knight Rider. So they were right across the hall from us. They were literally 20 feet away from us, where my good friend Bruce Cologne, right behind me, is a DeLorean. And you saw Mamma Mia, Miss Mary, dancing behind me in a video that I just previously showed. So a nice shot of Kit, Knight Rider, and Chris allowed me to get inside of it. They weren't allowing people to sit inside of it, but he allowed me to sit inside of it. And then I was really fortunate enough to get some photos inside my favorite car of all time. And then immediately I was like, where did this come from? How did you build it? I need one. And then I found out that Bruce Cologne, who made the DeLorean right through this window here, also makes Ectos from the Ghostbusters, and he makes the Knight Industries 2000 replica car. So really, really good times, man. Great shots. Thank you very much. I don't know what this is. Don't you reel me in, get me back. I gotta leave you now through it. Oh, the guitar raffle. 1 ticket for $1, 11 tickets for $10, a wingspan for $20, which is spread out as far as you can, fingertip to fingertip, and it can be anybody in the convention. Frames and photos so that was us rocking the bows, man. There's Jen Franson in the back. This is Ghosted, playing for MegaCon over and over and over again. Actually, I think I played it once an hour because you had so many new people coming through. You saw new people all the time, so you always want to push your music. But we were really, really fortunate. As you can see, this was the setup that we had. We had a listening station, so people can come by, put on some headphones and listen. Had the full board set up. Raffling off the guitar, rocking the mark. And then we had the bows set up to make sure that everything sounded nice and crisp and clean. Really good times. This is my girl Haley. That's my best girl right there. I've watched Haley grow. This is kind of funny. She is now 7 years old. The first time she came to see us, she was 4 years old. She has come back every single year with her mom and dad and her little brother, and I've got to watch, I've had the pleasure of watching this cute little 4-year-old dynamic duo of parents raise this glorious little energy-filled young lady. She is now 7 years old, and she is ×3 a Spitfire. She is absolutely fantastic. Haley is one of my favorite things about MegaCon. Watching her grow and watching her, just her energy is unmatched. She's so passionate. She comes every day. She wants to sing. She got to sing with me this year, which I was really happy for. She came behind the table. I played some guitar. I gave her the microphone, and she did a little bit of singing while I did a little bit of jamming. We had such a good time. I love Haley to pieces. My man Brian Demeter making it happen, baby. He got to swing by the last day of MegaCon. Super excited to see him, as you can tell with that crazy excited look I've got. And this was a shot of Tipsy. We had more tickets in the bowl for the guitar raffle than we ever have, and I've been giving away guitars for about a decade. Or rather, I've been raffling off guitars for about a decade of giving away. I started SuperCon 2013. And I've been giving away guitars ever since. I've done them at Tampa Bay Comic-Con, SuperCon. I've done them at MegaCon. We have done them every year, always raffling off a guitar, trying to get guitars into the hands of people to get them to start jamming, and you can win it for $1. We did a full-size 41-inch cutaway acoustic guitar with a gig bag. We also did it with a tuner, a capo, strings. We also had some picks in there, a polishing cloth as well. And a guitar strap, which was awesome. So this is us actually just breaking down, man. Just finishing up the breakdown, getting through everything that we had. This was our winner, Bethany. She was our winner for the guitar. Really beautiful. Bethany was absolutely fantastic. She came in last minute, bought a wingspan of tickets, I believe, and then she took it home. Here's little Haley and I kind of checking everything out. We were looking for some lyrics that she was familiar with because she wanted to be able to sing along. She was absolutely fantastic. Let's chat about this real quick. Remember when you met David Hasselhoff? I think you were probably 4 years old. He signed your Matchbox Knight Rider, which you probably still have. Yes, I will never forget meeting David Hasselhoff. I have that signed Matchbox Knight Rider car in my office at work on a floating shelf right in front of the big Knight Industry 2000 car that I have. So I have two of them. Of course, I still have that, and I will never forget that, absolutely. So this is the lovely Haley. She was such a cutie patootie. I was really happy to see her, and she came back. We went up picking out a song, and she actually sang Ghosted. So I played guitar. I sang along with her, and she did a really good job. She sounded fantastic. So this was a nice little setup right here. I had on Saturday, was really fortunate to have Michelle Hess, Jess B, Mike Conway. Saturday was a very, very busy day. We operated as a fantastic team. A huge shout out to Mike, Michelle, and Jess for making everything possible. But we were able to put this all together. We were able to team up with Hanging with Web Show, and we just had such a good time. Here's Haley's little brother right here being a DJ. There was actually a little bit of sound coming out of those headphones because he had the volume so low, but then he learned how to turn it up, and he really liked it when it was loud. And this is the little Haley and I playing a little music, singing along. She's having such a good time, just laughing, just really, really enjoying her time here. And I always encourage people to play and to sing. So the people that you saw in the very beginning singing three-way, this is the same couple. So this is Larry McLaughlin and Dina, and they absolutely crushed this cosplay. So let's see what's on this one.
Thank you. All right, give me the stare.
Oh man, and I can tell that's a little. You can hear it in the background. And I'm here. A little Through the Fear playing through the from the Arsonist album. So this is Larry and Dina making it happen. Mike Conway behind there. I think this is Haley and I singing a little music. She was so good. I love little Haley. She's absolutely fantastic, man. She's such a cutie. So it was really great to see her family. They're really fantastic. Here's the lovely Kaylee Harrison. So she loves Walk 'Em In. That's her favorite song by KitchenKillaz, and she had never heard the full band version. So before the show kicked off on Saturday, I rocked it through the bows for her. She was really happy. She said it still has the same vibe. It still has the same emotion, the same emotional content, which is exactly what you want when you move a song from acoustic to full band. You don't want it to lose that heart. You want to keep it there. So let's see what this is. Oh, here it is.
We have a 4583417, a Bethany H.
There she is, the lovely Bethany. So at the end of the show, about a half hour before everything stops, we make our announcement. We give away the guitar. We raffled off a guitar. We raffled off a hoodie, a shirt, and an album. So everybody that was there, I wanted to make sure they got something. We tried to give out pins and patches, cards, albums. Everybody that participated, we want to make sure they took something home. This was the lovely and amazing Jen Franston. Jen is a angel on this earth, 100%. And she brought her ukulele this year. And she, at one point during the show, she asked me if she could play a song. And I was like, of course you can play a song, 100%, man. So she started to play, and I said, hey, Jen, how about we plug you into the system, so you can play through the bows? And she goes, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. The sound's always bad. I don't know what to do. I said, Jen, I got you, baby doll. I'll run sound for you. So she plugged into the board, and she sang a song, which was a beautiful song, over the microphone through the Bose stereo. And she said, she was super, super, super nervous. And she's surrounded by friends. And it's always, listen, even if you're surrounded by friends, you can still be nervous, 100%. So this is all the props to Jen Franston. I had the easy job. I just had to turn the knobs and adjust the volume a little bit. But she was absolutely fantastic. She played an absolutely gorgeous song that she had written. And at the end of that, she came up to me immediately and said, that was the best that I've ever sounded. I was so nervous. Thank you for making me feel so comfortable. That was incredible. And I was like, Jen, anytime. You are like the sweetest fairy godmother of all time. So you are more than welcome to pop on and sing these beautiful fairy-inspired songs all about support and motivation and creation and family and friends and understanding and self-empowerment. Absolutely beautiful. So the video that you're seeing here is her dressed as McGonagall. She got to play Professor McGonagall during our sorting hat ceremony yesterday, which I believe, and I'm going to have to check this with great GW Pomacher, I think we almost doubled our record of young ladies and gentlemen that were properly sorted by the hat on Sunday alone. Absolutely fantastic. So here's a little clip of Jen Franston doing what she does. Oh, Jen. I love Jen. She had such a good time. Anytime I would play Just Like Collide, she would dance along. Anytime I was playing music and she was in the booth, she was just dancing along and singing, man. We had such a good time. It was great to see so many people. And Nathan, I'll reach out to Bethany and see if that will work for her. That'd be super, super cool. So thank you guys so much for spending some time with us. Patio Furniture. Someone's about to walk in. Sorry. So when the dogs freak out, it's Patio Furniture's fault. But anyway, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest has arrived. Ready to rock and roll. We're going to do a little MegaCon wrap up for you. There's no way that I would have been able to do what I did this weekend at all if it weren't for two things: my team and Hanging with Web Show. And I've known Garrett and Hanging with Web Show since 2015. I believe we've been at Space Coast Comic Con. And ever since then, we have partnered on so many different conventions around the state of Florida. We've been able to become part of an amazing community, an amazing movement. And this past MegaCon, we really pulled out all the stops. We brought all of our wisdom, all of our knowledge, all of our education, and all of our resourcefulness to MegaCon 2023. As I said in the very beginning of the show, the setup was super smooth, the breakdown was super smooth, and we were a fantastic team this MegaCon, which it's always fun working with, hanging with. You work with somebody with the guidance of Garrett and then support of Sage and Dina, Cosplay Michael, and Steven, and it is a recipe for success. So with that said, let's bring in my good man, GW Pomacher.
Well, hello, everybody.
What's up, dude?
Hey, man, I am just recovering from a fantastic weekend.
Oh, yeah, I think me and you both, brother.
I put on just enough years so that after a 4-day weekend, I need a 3-day nap.
I get that 100%, man. I took today off just to make sure I could go back to to the shop on Tuesday ready to rock and roll because I knew that Monday, no way in the world, bro. There's no way.
No, it just, and I mean, and that was, and I had to echo what you just said before I came on, and that's when things run smoothly, you don't even know how much you're doing until it's over.
That's true.
And you start that after action review where you kind of look and you say, my God, we had Lauren's panel, and we had Melanie Dean's panel, and we had Thomas's panel, and we had Cosplay Michael and Amelia did their Robin and Joker performance, and then the two Harry Potter performance. You don't even know it's all happening when it's happening right.
It's true.
You know, and then I got back here and you know, I had Steven here so he could lift up all my heavy things and put them back in the barn, and so. You get it all done and you're thinking, wow, I could sleep for days. And it's what an amazing weekend though. I mean, getting out there with you guys for setup, it went so smooth. We were able to get out there and get the area taped off so that we knew exactly where everything was going to go. And it created the beautiful illusion in the front, which is great. When everybody came by, they could hear you play, they could sit in the kitchen. I love having it in the kitchen. It was awesome.
Oh yeah.
And then they could come and sit on our set, which was available for photo ops all weekend. And Jennifer Fransden, guys out there in the social media, look her up. It was Cosplay Fairy Godmother, I think is her full moniker there. But such a sweet, loving, and giving individual. She worked. She came over and she said, hey, can I sit here for a little while? We got talking. We've been friends with Jen for a long time. We met her on the Ren Fair circuit, actually, doing fairy godmother stuff. And she said, can I just hang out here for a little while? I said, sure, you're welcome to hang. And then we got her to do the sorting hat ceremonies at McGonagall.
Oh, man, she was great.
And then she worked the booth all weekend after that. She sat there. She got people signing up and, told them about the ceremony upstairs. I think she literally kind of twisted arms to get photo ops taken out. People get nervous when they see the backdrops and the sets and they don't know, am I supposed to take a picture? Can I? Do I have to ask? And she was just dragging them in and letting them take their selfie on set, which was amazing. And she did such a fantastic way. And then afterwards, I got a message afterwards saying it was so much fun to hang out with you and the KitchenKillaz and Thomas and everybody. Can I be a part of this team? What do I have to do to be a part of this team? And I said, Jen, you just did it.
That's it.
Because when Billy and I 2015 we met.
Yeah, I think it was Space Coast Comic-Con 2015, maybe earlier than that.
I think by the beginning of 2016 we were working on our first collaboration.
Oh yeah.
And since then, I mean, the thing that Billy and I talk about off the air all the time, and we don't mind sharing with you, I don't think, is it's about collaboration. It's about building our community space. That was what we all wanted down there on the floor of these conventions, was a place for our community, our cosplayers, musicians, creators, writers, people who want to do. Kevin J. Kessler, author in his own right, bringing out Morty Monster, and then we asked Kevin to come downstairs and take photos as Morty. Now, when Kevin gets out of the puppet box, he looks like a WWF wrestler.
He does.
Just beat down because it's hot in there and it's sweat. I asked him to come down and take some photos, and he said, "Sure." How long? I said, "No, maybe 30 minutes." But he was having so much fun with the kids, and I know Billy loves when he does a performance upstairs. We always try to get Billy back downstairs quickly because he has to get out of costume to go do the music.
Yeah.
So we try to rush him down. We get down there, and I promised both these guys 30 minutes as a photo op. But between Billy and Morty having so much fun with the kids, you guys did that for more than an hour.
Yeah, and it was good. It was so much fun. Like they're walking by, they see Morty Monster, and let me bring up a picture real quick, show you guys like what Morty Monster is. Just a little bit of a picture of it is so cool. And here's a couple shots. Here's a shot from the actual sorting ceremony that we had on Friday with Rolando, and you can see Morty Monster just off to the left just off to the left there, just kind of kicking it. Rolando joined us on Friday. Such a blessing to have him. He's so fantastic. We were really fortunate. This was our setup for our hat sorting ceremony, and Morty really was absolutely incredible. Let me share this tab right here so you can see a little shot of Morty Monster. So here's Dumbledore and the great Morty Monster making it happen. He was so sweet, and I love Kevin, man. He's so good with the kids, and the kids love Morty Monster. So they came up here and they just wanted to engage, and Morty and I were just talking to the kids. We're having fun. And yeah, you're right, Garrett, that 30-minute photo op turned into a 30-minute photo op plus 30 minutes of just kind of riffing with everybody in the MegaCon hallway that was walking up and seeing Morty and wanted to talk to Morty and see how he was doing.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal to see the interaction with the kids and their parents and the grown-ups who just had so much. True story. We were in the performance hall to do the sorting hat ceremony, and I got everybody where they were going, and I always Billy will tell you, I always step to the back of the room and kind of watch from a distance, try to put out fires if they occur, but if they don't, I just have a great time watching the show. And I was talking with our girl that controlled our line. And she was so phenomenal. And she said, gee, she said, we had the certificates on one side of the stage on a table they left out for us. And our Draco Malfoy, cast by Michael, had to walk across to give them to some of the kids. And she said, why don't you put the certificates on that little table? And I had to tell her, that's not a table. I said, there's a puppeteer in there.
Yeah, that's a guy.
And then I no more than got the words out of my mouth, and Morty popped up out of the space. And she looked at me and she said, oh my God, that's so amazing. and of course, it's always wonderful to hear. We hear it every year so far from the MegaCon staff. And this year we heard it we had a neighbor in the community zone room that was drawing pictures for kids, and he happens to travel with Fan Expo all over the country, and he does his drawing for kids and sells his books, but he's at 100 shows a year, and he came up afterwards and he said, never seen anything like it, never seen a sorting hat ceremony run like that before, never seen the performances of it. A lot of them, they do it, but they get it done fast, or they have the animatronic hat that does it and they're done. But with the jokes and the wit and all the stuff that the performers bring to the stage, we always get told that. We always get told they've never seen anything like it, and then they see it again next year, and it's better.
Yeah. Oh man, we learned a lot this year alone. From Friday to Sunday, we changed so much and we evolved so much. And there was now we know because we're the creators, so we're always our own biggest critics. So there were a slew of things that went right on Friday, and a slew of things we knew that if we managed ourselves, we were going to be able to evolve the entire show.
And you hit it right on the head, because we did, because they've always complimented us and they always love what we bring to the show. And so every year, Fan Expo does a great job of reaching out and saying, hey, if you guys want, we can handle this, and you guys don't have to worry about it. We've got it. And the last couple of years, we've tried to take little things and then keep control of what we have control of. And this year we said, okay, you've offered us all this, like, it was really technical stuff, wasn't it, Billy, that went wrong? They've offered us all this technical support, so we're going to take it for a change and then kind of free ourselves up. And we weren't 5 minutes into the show when we were all going, oh, we should have just done that, because it was then. And they just have so many things to do. They have 150 rooms that they're running, and
oh man. Dude,
so
Mike,
nice.
I was happy we got the time with Mike that we got, because he, being the programming director, like, it was a blessing to have any of his time. I mean, these guys are running, like, alone on Saturday, over 150,000 people. There's panels everywhere. There's everybody everywhere. The technical needs of MegaCon has to be mind-boggling. Like, I would love to see their technical numbers of how many microphones, how many cables, how much hardware, how much equipment.
Mics, cable, what went wrong, how many. And here was the thing on Friday for us, and it wouldn't, I know it probably wouldn't occur to anybody that we're talking to right now out there. It's just one of those things you just don't think about every day, because they just exist in the universe. Batteries. What do you think What do you think, Billy? How many batteries does MegaCon need in a weekend?
Oh my God. No, I can only imagine. I mean, just us alone for our show, with all the people that we had in our show alone, I would say that we had myself with a microphone that had batteries. Jen Franson needed batteries. Cosplay Michael needed batteries. Morty Monster needed batteries, and the hat needed batteries.
Yep.
So just the 5 of us alone, I would say between 2 to 4
hat,
double
no matter
A's.
what they do,
Yeah,
Morty and the hat have to be wireless.
absolutely.
They have to have a transmitter. It has to be working because that's their illusion, right? They don't exist without that. They need to be hidden and they need to be a voice. And, we just have to think about it for our show, for our crew. MegaCon's got, 130 of those rooms. And I don't, Duracell, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's all we can say. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Here's a great shot from Friday's show. And I really like this. It shows you like the evolution. And next year, I would imagine that we are going to find ourselves in a little bit of a different environment next year. I think on Friday, we didn't have any handlers from MegaCon. And we've actually, in my experience with doing this, we've all been able to manage it ourselves. Hanging with Web Show team, and we've been able to manage it ourselves. We were able to cue the kids, keep control, because we have Professor Murray, we have Professor Sage, they're all taking care of it. Michael's out front. We have Morty, we have Thomas, we have the hat, we have Professor McGonagall, be it Rolando, or Jen Franzen this year. We're normally able to kind of manage that. And on Friday, we had just our team, and we also were running into some technical things in regards to wireless microphones, batteries, hearing each other. We were able to solve all of the technical issues on Sunday when we stepped in with our own equipment, and we provided that, which then allowed us to give MegaCon back their equipment so they can utilize that elsewhere. Hey, MegaCon, we saw what you're doing. Super appreciative. Thank you for everything that you've done. We're a little more familiar with our equipment, so we're going to go ahead and utilize that. And that allowed me to free up my hands, which was awesome. Everybody was heard, and MegaCon, from what I saw, had provided 3 different handlers to assist us in getting these kids and these adults sorted. There was somebody watching the queue, somebody at the front of the queue, and somebody right at the edge of the steps, making sure that everybody got on and got off safely. So huge shout out to MegaCon for that. I had no idea it was going to be as big as it was.
Billy told you guys earlier, we broke our own records with the number of young people, and not so young people. We had a lot of adults and parents that we sorted into their houses and performed with. But even doing that, MegaCon had to cut that line off for time restrictions. And when they did that, the line had wrapped out of the room and around and was in the lobby, in front of the window, all the way across in front of the family, for the whole family zone. And they had to come up and they said, how many how many can you do in the amount of time? And I said, we've done, 70 to 100, and going over a little bit. And he said, well, I just cut it off at 100, and we had already done 5 or 6. And he said, I'm cutting it off at 138.
And and like you said, we had already done 5 or 6.
Yeah,
we had already gone through.
And by the time we finished, and then of course some sneak into the line. It always happens. And by the time we finished, it was up over 150 sorted and done, and still the wit and the show and the performances was wonderful to see. I can't actually say this enough. If I said it for the rest of my life, every day, twice a day, it wouldn't be enough. One of the most wonderful things about being allowed to lead a team like the one that we've got together is that the longer we're all together, and then when things go right and the team is on fire, I'm bored. It's a great job. It's a great gig to say, wow, I went to solve this problem and 3 people already solved it. And I went to do this thing and somebody already did it. And, it's hey, I got to get Billy downstairs for the photo op from upstairs. And anybody that knows Billy or I know that moving us across the convention floor where there are people to talk to, it can take a while. It can take a while. But I say, hey, guys, I got to get Billy downstairs for photo ops. The kids are going to be down there. And somebody tells me, Billy's been down there for 5 minutes. Where the hell are you? Yeah. And I'm like, I can't stress enough that if you guys are ever putting together a team or anything like that, if you're, putting it together, put a team together that you have absolute confidence, trust, and love for, because if you do, you will never work a day.
Yeah.
Because you guys make my job so easy.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're everybody's on top of their game, and
Yep.
everybody's bringing their A game. Thomas Carter Rochester.
Oh my God, bro.
He's a personality on the floor. He's a personality in all the shows we do, and he helps get the set up and gets things going. However, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever have to work with actors, he is a slob backstage.
Yeah, that is true. Bro, his stuff is everywhere.
It's a thing in the dressing room. There's a thing. Do not leave actors to themselves in a dressing room. It's a fire hazard at best. But
He
we
did,
have to forward,
yeah,
and it was great to have Billy and I be together on set this year for the big build, because last year was the first year they gave us the big space and we weren't able to be together, and we did the best we could. This year, Billy and I were both there on day one in the big space. We were able to design and build a space that created an illusion in front for all the passersby, and gave them a really good experience, and gave all of our people a place to store their stuff, to change their cosplays. We had a whole backstage area that we were able to build out and never break the illusion.
Yep.
And it was so wonderful to be able to do that and to have the space to do that. So thank you, Fan Expo, for giving us the space, because
huge, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing to have. I mean, I can remember times when we would do everything we could do on a 5-foot section of my set, just trying to keep it off camera.
Oh yeah.
While we were changing it. So now to be able to have that great space where we can create a dressing room for our performers.
Yeah.
A beautiful illusion out front. We had the living room in the kitchen.
Yep.
You could hang out in the house with the team.
Yep.
And
we had the two chairs. Great idea. We had the two chairs off to the side in the kitchen, and people were just sitting down, had a little table tray there. And throughout the day at MegaCon, if you guys have ever been, it can get exhausting. Just if you're a guest, just if you're somebody visiting MegaCon, I mean, you're putting in steps, man. That place, I didn't even get to see the entire floor of MegaCon at all. And Garrett, I know on Wednesday and Thursday, actually on Thursday, we walked for about 20 minutes.
We did.
And there was probably 50% that we didn't even make it.
Yeah, no, we walked all the way up near the Artists and over toward the I guess what would be the north end of the south side of the concourse, where they had some tables and some other vendors set up. But there was a whole section off to the south east corner.
Yeah,
that was all tabling and all vendors and more artists, and that we never got near.
We didn't even make it over there.
No, and we walked around the whole park, guys. We wanted to see what we were missing while we were working, and we couldn't see it all.
That's true. And so to have that little seating area, and I at first I was like, okay, cool, maybe we can set this up as a little performance area, and I can stand up and perform, have a couple shows. Then I thought, you know what? I like my setup. The board's right here. I can address everybody. And Garrett said, hey, man, maybe next year have 2 little tables and maybe get one of those little little table, like an ice cream table, I think you had mentioned. So you can have it right in the middle so people can relax. And I went, well, I got 2 chairs. I'm resourceful too. That's a great idea. I got 2 chairs. I got a table tray I'm not using. Let me make it a little seating area. So we had 2 chairs. We had the table tray. And dude, all day long, there were people sitting down in the kitchen, relaxing, grabbing something to eat, taking pictures in front of the kitchen. Like, it was full.
I remember us having that conversation early in the show where I said, hey, wouldn't that be great to have that? And you were like, yeah, dude, that'd be really great. So I came back about 45 minutes later, and Billy had already put a table and 2 chairs. And I walked around and I gave him a high five, and I walked over to my area and sat down. And then about an hour later, I walked over there, and there was somebody already. This has not been an hour and a half since we thought it up.
Yeah.
And already there are people sitting. There's a guy leaning back in the chair like this, and he's like, oh, this is a great place to be.
Feels nice to sit down.
Yeah. And it was perfect. It was perfect. It was everything went right.
Yeah.
Of the things that went wrong, they were all manageable. We were able to punt and manage everything. But really, it went off. It was a great show. In hindsight, you look back and you go, I learned little things to do. I know your audience knows, as my audience knows, that I was out for health reasons last year for I did learn to go easy getting back into things. Billy will tell you guys after the first day, I had hit a brick wall. I was done. Going all at it for the first time in over a year. But it was a great experience, and it was great to. I have missed seeing our community the way it was for a while there with our show and with your show traveling around together doing things. We saw each other, the whole community, maybe once a month, sometimes twice. And,
That's true.
And just a breakneck speed. And after a whole year without seeing everybody, to get to see you and the whole team, Thomas and Amelia and Jennifer and then the people that came up to the table, the community that we serve, the people that we're there for. Yeah. To see all of our friends come up and say hi and having
it's always like a family reunion. It's like, because a lot of times we don't really get to see a lot of these people outside of the world of conventions in normal life, so it's like that first day, that Wednesday when you're setting everything up, and that Thursday during setup, man, you're seeing all your buddies, you're seeing all your friends, and normally we're all so busy that it's one time that we're able to be under the same roof. And we're still working. We're at work, but we're all under the same roof, under the same project of MegaCon, which brought us all together. So good to see everybody. And then so during that Wednesday setup, we're seeing people. We're getting things squared away. It's so good to see. We saw Christian Basil immediately, Legend of Traveling TARDIS was there. We had Phantasmagoria right across the hall, right across from us.
Amazing. And fantastic.
Awesome.
And great guys. I don't know what's coming yet. I don't know what it's going to be. But Phantasmagoria has reached out. They want to be part of this collaboration that we do. They want to do stuff with us, and I'm excited for that. I truly am. Many fantastic performers.
They're incredible, dude. I was so happy
awesome.
that they were right across the way. And I had gone up to John on Thursday and gotten one of their flyers. So before every show that they had, I would make an announcement over the speakers like, hey, guys, this is what's going on. Be sure you check out Phantasmagoria. And that's just what we're trying to do. I don't want anything for that. That's what we should be doing for each other. This is just what we do.
I mean, for 4 days at a time, sometimes 2 days at a time, we can all be together. And we can be just a rising tide of creativity, and every boat rises if we rise. It's not about what they can do for me or somebody can do. It's all about what we can all do together, and for to help the community. Because guys, if you're out there on the internet and you browse your news feed and you're loving all the pop culture references and all the Mandalorian podcasts and all of those things, remember we weren't always cool.
Yeah.
And I grew up in the 1980s. In fact, I have a dear friend who came by the booth this weekend, and we have been friends since I was cosplaying Michael's age.
Wow.
True story. I went away to school. I came to boarding school in Florida when I was 13 years old, and the older boy, teenager that kind of looked after me while I was at boarding school, my big brother, as it were, his then girlfriend was this girl, Jennifer Furman. I think it's Jenny Furman Anderson now. Mr. Anderson, it was a pleasure to meet you. But anyway, I met Jenny when I was that size. And Jenny came up to the table and she said, when we were this age, we didn't really know that this community was here. And her husband pointed out, when we were growing up, if you said that you were a part of this community, someone stuffed you in a locker.
Right.
So, so we're not always cool, guys. And we become cooler now, and Comic-Cons are huge and they're big business, but it's still a community. Yeah. And part of us has to remember that life happens in these ebbs and flows, and it's cyclical. So there was a time when I was a kid when we were pushed into a locker for being a geek. Now we're hot stuff. Yeah. Someday we'll be back in the locker, guys.
Yeah. Enjoy it while it lasts.
That's right. And it's so important now that we, make those ties and we have those bonds with community. Because if I'm going to get pushed in the locker again someday when I'm 87 years old, I'm not doing it alone. I'm going with my friends.
That's right. That's right. And then when we're in the locker, that'll be cool.
And it'll be being in the locker cool. Will be cool. That's right. We're gonna make the locker
because we're there with all of our friends.
You guys don't know what Billy and I can build in a locker.
It's true.
There's some stuff coming. So I mean, but it's great. See, so it's about the community and it's about lifting it up, because what we do every day. You go to work every day. that's to make a living. It's to do, you know, and if you're lucky and you get to do something that you enjoy doing, that's awesome. But every one of us gets up in the morning and we go to work and we do our thing and we come home and we're exhausted and we want a foot rub and a bath and sleep. But there are moments when we get to embrace our humanity, what we
Absolutely.
really are. And what we really are is a community creature. We build packs, we build societies, we need each other. And for 4 days at a time, 2 days at a time, on the weekends, once a month, once every couple of months, you and I get to be right in the center of that community building experience, in a place where we're not there because we have to be. We're there because of the things we love.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. And I think that plays into you saying when everything is working, you got a good team, you're not working. You know, you're able to just take a step back. And as a performer standing on stage, and Garrett, I know you know this. I look to you, Sage, and Dina for cues throughout the entire show. I'm watching you. I'm watching Sage. I'm watching Dina. I'm watching for the little hand cues. The little, we got 5 minutes. This is how many students. Let's get a little faster. Let's stretch it out a little bit. You know, just watching for those cues. And what I always like to see is when I look up and you are standing in the back of the room and you're standing next to some of the big wigs of MegaCon, and you guys are just watching. You're laughing. You're having a good time, and you're just watching this whole performance take place. So it's always like when they talk about a busy IT guy. If you have an IT guy running around with his hair on fire, then your network there's a problem. You want a bored IT guy. You want an IT guy going, everything's cool. So when I look back and I see GW just kind of sitting there watching, that means everything is working the way it should be working.
Crazy,
everything is running smooth. We got a good team. Seeing the size of that line, when I first walked in there, Garrett, I didn't even think that was our line. I had no idea. As I'm walking up, I just see the line. There's a MegaCon handler, and the line went all the way to the end of the building, and then started wrapping around the wall. And I went, well, that's interesting. I know that's not for us because they're not in there, so that I don't know who that's for. I walk in, I'm backstage. Garrett goes, hey, did you see that line out there? And I went, yeah, what's that for? That's for us.
Yeah.
So normally we sorted between 70 to 80 kids. I think that's kind of become our average.
Kind of an average, yeah.
That was kind of our average. So when you said it was counted at 138 and we had already sorted maybe 10 plus additional people, in my mind I'm going, okay, what I think is going to happen, I think you and I talked about this briefly yesterday, is I think MegaCon recognized what was going on. They put 3 handlers in place immediately who were all great. They were excited. Mm-hmm. They were having fun. They were really sweet with the kids. They were very, very patient. I think next year we're going to find this hat sorting ceremony still at MegaCon in a bigger location and on a bigger stage with a little more firepower. With a longer time and a little more firepower. We were able to do what we did on that small stage. You really want to turn it into a big thing? Give us a bigger room. We'll fill it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. And we have every time ever since we started doing this together. We've never not had a packed house.
Yeah.
We've never not sorted as many as we possibly can.
We've never run out of people to sort. We've always, unfortunately, but it's just strict time.
Yeah.
We've always had to cut the line and turn people away and welcome them to come back to the next sorting ceremony, because right after us, there's another panel.
And there's always somebody knocking on our door. And we were fortunate on Sunday when we did the big numbers that our good friend Rob Anderson was the next panel, and he knows us, and he saw the line and he said, keep going, guys, finish it out. And we were able to do that. But what was really great was when Rob came up and he looked at me and he said, hey, I've got my panel is next and I want to get sorted. So how about I go last? And then that's how we'll kick off the panel.
And it was perfect.
And it was. He got sorted last. As soon as he was coming off stage, I grabbed the mic, said thank you to the audience, said thank you to the performers, made sure that everybody knew who our performers were, which is one of the things we try to always do. And if you guys are out there, if you're a cosplayer and you're looking to get involved in something, maybe you're an actor, you're looking to do something, we always acknowledge our cast.
Absolutely.
And especially if we have a guest cast member or whatever, which we've had in the past. So we always acknowledge our cast and get everybody off, get everybody downstairs for photo ops while Rob took over. And it went just fluidly, man. It was super smooth.
The technology worked really great on Sunday. And I think the two biggest changes that we made, and Garrett, it was kind of funny. I do want to show this picture real quick. So I think Garrett and I had an hour-long conversation about a week before MegaCon, and we already had everything in play. It was like, cool, here's the set design. He shot me this set design immediately. So
Yeah, this
he
is
sends me
awful.
this. He
By
sends
the
me
way,
this right away.
This is why I produce things, and I'm not the artist.
Yeah, he's like, all right, this is what I'm thinking. So within just a couple minutes, because we had 20 foot by 20 foot, and we want to use that space that MegaCon gives us. We don't want MegaCon to see the fact that they gave us space and we didn't use it. We used every square inch of that 20 by 20. So within minutes, Garrett sends me this rough draw of what we're going to do. We have a big backstage changing area. And sometimes with MegaCon, when you're seeing that many people, sometimes you need to just take a breather. You need to be able to go somewhere and disconnect for just a moment, sit down and breathe, take a moment and get right back out there. Because when you get back out there, you can feel the energy of MegaCon. If you're just quiet and you close your eyes and you listen, there is like a low but very high roar of just hundreds of thousands of people talking.
It's constant buzz in your ear. It's a busy sound.
Oh yeah. So stepping back into that backstage can save can stop a panic attack, can save an anxiety attack, can give people to just go and take a moment and breathe and kind of grab a bite to eat, get something to drink. So you don't have to walk all the way outside MegaCon to be able to kind of catch your breath. So having that backstage changing was absolutely incredible, absolutely perfect. And you can see this backstage changing right here, 4 feet, 8 feet. That's a lot of square footage of backstage changing. Then we had the 6-foot tables up front. KitchenKillaz was in the bottom left, 2 6-foot tables. Hanging With was in the bottom right, 2 6-foot tables. Then the 8x8 right here was set up as a full photo opportunity. And then right here in this area with these two arrows pointed over to the word aisle where it says Kit and DeLorean, this was the little seating area that we had for just patrons, just anybody that wanted to sit down and kind of take a break. We were able to do that. So two of the things that we talked about, not only did we get this, but we talked about two things when it came to the sorting hat ceremony. The fact that the last year when Rolando and I did it and we didn't have time to have sign-out sheets, it was so smooth to have the kids and the adults just queue up right on the steps, and we just ad-libbed it. We asked a couple questions, some clarifying questions. The hat was able to hear what we were saying, and we were able to sort them appropriately, and we did it in real time. So we applied that this year, and I think immediately we saw a good jump in our efficiency when it came to managing that, because there's so much time put into getting the sign-out sheets, keeping the kids in order, trying to read the names.
Get the paper to point A, then read it, then get the paper to point B, and move on to the next one.
Yeah, to take it back to point C so they could see what's going on, buy time while that's all happening.
Much time going there. Yeah. And what we were losing is not only were we losing the ability to sort kids, but we were losing the ability to perform. And I really believe, and of course, they've never told me different. Maybe they will after this broadcast. I really believe that what makes what we do so different from what they see, the reason everybody comes up and says, "Gee, I've never seen anything like that," is the time and energy that we put into building a performance.
Yeah. There's
ad-libbing between the characters. You don't just sit down, get sorted, and move on. Yeah, there's jokes, there's popular culture references, there's interplay between our characters. It's a show, and you just happen to get to be a part of it for your 2 seconds in the middle. And when you have to run all that logistics and all that paper, we lose performance time.
Yeah.
And so it's a time that we're not entertaining anybody. And how many people, and I know this time it was hard to see sometimes, but there were some tables there, and how many people come and just watch the show? Yeah,
they just watch for it. I had several of my friends message me after the Friday show, like, that I've known outside of the convention area. I didn't even know we're at MegaCon, and they messaged me and they said, "Listen, man, I just caught your hat sorting ceremony. That was the coolest and cutest thing ever. Like, that was incredible." And I was like, "Man, I didn't even know you guys were there. That's so cool."
Yeah, I mean the sorting, the actual sorting of the students, adult or young, because we had so many adults to stand in that line and come up there.
I mean, all the way from 2 years old to over 50 years old. I mean, there was the whole gambit, the whole window of people that just love Harry Potter.
I'm going to go through the paperwork one day. I'm going to find out who the oldest person we ever sorted was. I'd love to know that.
I would say one of the oldest we had this year was 52.
52.
Was one of the oldest that we had. And the
so
youngest we had was 2. So there's a 50-year
yeah.
span.
Oh my gosh. And I'll tell you, Friday's sorting hat ceremony. And again, all kudos to the performers because you guys have to handle things in real time. And on Friday, a little girl had been sorted according to, what little questions that we can. We only have a handful of seconds to ask questions, and the sorting hat's back there trying to figure it out, and with this matrix of who goes where. But even though it might have been where the hat would have put it on paper, it wasn't where the little girl wanted to go, and she let the world know.
Oh,
and
man.
I will say, it was so magnificent to watch the cast respond. And when she left the stage, she was smiling and happy again.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was immersed in that moment. And
yeah.
how she reacted, I mean, that could have been just one of those teaching moments for parents. Oh, honey, you don't always get what you want. But at the same time, for performers, what an amazing test to see. We're there to make people happy. And if this little girl has made it clear she's not happy, can we fix that?
Yeah.
And we did. And the performance was, I mean, she left the stage so happy. Ran over to Cosplay Michael and got her certificate because the one she wanted. And it was great. But when you do a live show, those are the things, right? Those are the things that happen.
She was very young. She might have been maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Maybe 5, yeah.
She wanted Ravenclaw. She got sorted into Hufflepuff. And right away, you could see a little bit of disappointment in her face. But we see that sometimes, and then they're like, okay, cool. They get up. They're like, great. They get their certificate. And listen, man, the hat can't get them all right. So but she didn't stop at a little sad face. She made a little sad face. She looked up, and then immediately the waterworks hit, and she let loose. And the whole crowd, you could hear the whole crowd simultaneously like, oh. So we saw it immediately. I heard the mom go, I was like, all right, sweet. And the crew jumped in immediately. Morty popped up. Hey, Hat, I think maybe you partied a little bit too hard last night. Let's see if we can make this happen again. I popped up, supported Morty, no problem. Rolando, immediately we had the girl back in the chair, the hat back on top of her head. The Hat apologized immediately, said he must have gotten something wrong. He had a long night at Moshi's party on Friday night. So let's go ahead and resort this. And which is, I also like the little Easter eggs of the other performers. The Moshi parties, the after parties, the MegaCon parties, the Kits and the DeLoreans, Immediately the Hat resorted her, put her in Ravenclaw. Those tears dried right up. She got the biggest smile on her face. And in moments, we saved this girl's MegaCon because of the team was able to recognize what happened, brought her right back on stage. Dude, we don't care what house you get sorted into. We want you to be happy.
No.
That's it.
And here, guys, I'm going to do this on the internet. I know the internet's going to break, and there's going to be a lot of horrible faces out there. But guys, we're not magic.
Yeah.
We're doing the best we can. Our sorting hat has a matrix. These are the traits for the houses, and he does his best. But if you answer the question differently, you could answer 3 different questions and get a different house every time.
Oh, yeah.
And when we get confused like that, we once had a guest sorting hat voice who did not know the Harry Potter universe at all. And was our celebrity guest. And I think I remember him. Spider-Man sat in the chair, and he sorted Spider-Man into all of the houses. He winged it. And
that was Carrie Means, I believe.
Yes, it was. That was our good friend Carrie Means.
I love Carrie.
And he sorted them into all the houses. And I remember all of us looking at each other like, can he even do that? I mean, it's done now.
I guess.
I mean, we don't have, for those of you that are watching and come to the shows, we don't have like a, what's the website, the Potter website?
No,
we don't have that like on speed dial.
We don't have that much time,
Yeah,
and I think it's a happy balance of trying to get as many kids and young adults and adults sorted, and also be able to engage with each one of our characters, the Mortys and the Professor, or the Mr. Malfoys and Professor McGonagalls and the Hat, and also to give individualized attention to each of the children when they come on stage.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting in line with 150 people. So we
Mm-hmm.
want your time on stage to be the most time that we can possibly give you, that's the most efficient, but we're able to engage with you. We want you to connect with the characters. We want you to enjoy your time on stage. We know you only have a very small window, so we try to all of us engage immediately and make them feel wholehearted and
Make that
special,
special.
and
we
focused
had
on. Yeah.
on Sunday we had our the lovely Dina and Sage in their robes, which was fantastic that we were able to do that and have them work the line to let people know, hey, if we're running late, there's photo ops downstairs, so you're not going to miss.
Awesome.
You're going to get time with the cast.
Yeah.
You may not get it on stage, but we promise you time with the cast.
Yeah, and I can see, I'm telling, and I don't think you're going to disagree with me here. We went from our staff, which was let's see, so our actual physical staff. So we have Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall, we had Morty, we had the Hat, we had Mr. Malfoy. That was 5 actors, and then our operations crew was Garrett, Sage, Dina, 3 already. So now we're up to 8. And then this past Sunday, we had 3 to 4 additional helpers from MegaCon.
Yes.
So now our 8 has quickly become a staff of 12 to put on this sorting hat ceremony,
when
sorting
we're properly
150 kids.
Yeah, when we're properly staffed, and now normally for you guys that know Billy and I, he and I normally do probably 3 panels of our own on the other side of the building during the convention.
Oh yeah,
because we want to come out there and we teach people how to do this, how to talk to you on the internet, and whether you're doing music or art or podcasting, whatever, we teach people how to do that, and oftentimes we host the other panels for some of our other friends. So it's a lot going on all at once, and our normal staff. And we came to this MegaCon this year, I think, with a staff for everything of about 20.
Yeah.
Our normal staff for a convention for all of the things that we're doing is usually between 30 and 40 people.
Yeah.
And so that extra, having MegaCon throw us that extra staff.
Yeah, that was huge.
It's a lifesaver because
that was huge. And they were in great spirits too.
The date changes this year. Really.
Oh yeah, now it's February.
Everybody. Yeah.
I just saw 2024 come out. I think it's February now. It's not just
February, it's the beginning of February.
It's like the 1st through the 4th.
Yeah. So fortunately though, we have a year notice that it's changing, which is good. But this year the shift in the dates and everything, it was hard to get, we're a collaborative team, guys. We don't go to an office every day and see each other. So when we're coordinating these conventions out there, it's all being done, Billy and I on the phone or Facebook Messenger, and we're reaching out to different cast members and crew members. If you have a convention and you decide to change dates, you have to call us because it's a network. We're not in the same office. You don't just send an email and go, okay, those guys will show up at the right date now, because
no.
We've got 40 people we have to get to the right date, and we weren't able to make all those phone calls this year, so we cut a lot of things down. We did a very basic number of panels. I think we only did 2 Harry Potters. Normally we have at least 3. Last couple of years we had 4 because we had 2 on Saturday to accommodate.
Normally we did 1 a day. Sometimes we did 2 a day.
Yeah, and so
we were doing 2 a day.
So we cut it down a little bit this year. Next year it's full force. It's on. And for those of you, we're going to tease just a little bit because we're not going to tell what it is yet. But Billy and I have already got big plans. We have plans so big that Disney has already copied us, and we haven't even done it yet.
Right?
That's how big it is. It's so big that all we had to do was talk about it twice. Yeah, and it's happening in the world. Yeah. So we've got huge things coming up for next year, and we're so excited and energized. I got to tell you, as physically exhausted as I am from the weekend, I'm mentally energized. I'm so ready. I mean, if I could physically do it, they could just call me and let's do it next weekend, because I'm so ready. It is 100%. I'm so energized by that community, by being around it and everything, and to watch after all these years of putting it all together so many times, to watch it all come together and be so smooth.
Yeah, it was really great.
And,
It's such a team. It's such a team effort. Not only
Yeah.
in the sorting hat ceremonies, but and like you said, the team during a sorting hat ceremony, you're live. We're live on stage. It might as well
Yeah.
be a play.
I've-
So
I-
we're having to
I've
riff.
had
We're
people
having
come
to
up to
go.
us during the sorting hat ceremony. I have people come up to me and say, "Hey, can we do this? Hey, can we do that?" And I'm looking at it and I'm going, "Look, I was useful right up until 11:59. At 11:59, talking to me gets you nothing. At 11:59, I grab a mic, I introduce the show and the cast. I put the mic down, and I have no further contact with my cast members until it's over. So if somebody says
that's
to
kind
me,
of like the green light. That's when it starts.
Yeah.
Like once that
it's
event
done.
starts,
I don't
man,
know nothing.
Yeah, we're
somebody
we're
says, "Hey,
moving,
can we
dude."
do this?" And I'm like, "We could have done that if you'd have got to me at 11:58."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you
After you open the floodgates, brother, it's game time. We're grooving.
They're on. They're on
make,
stage. They're doing.
Yeah, we can
what they do.
make small adjustments during the performance, but other than that, we've got what we've got, and we hit the go button, and here we go. And the two things that we did this year, which I thought was really great, was Morty having that table was awesome. I think we learned so much with what we did, and that was another thing.
You know what I want to say. You know what I learned from that table?
What's that?
I learned that that $22 in PVC pipe and $15 more in cloth, and you can make a grown man cry tears of joy.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
I did not know the math that makes it work. All I can tell you is Morty was happier than I've seen him in a while, and the audience completely flabbergasted. Had no idea that there was a puppet about to pop out. And when he did, those kids went crazy.
And you could see them on stage, like
in the back of the room.
They're sitting in the chair, and as we're talking, they're looking over at Morty, and they're trying to figure out how they're doing it. How's he doing that?
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? What's going on? These little kids are just blown away, and that was the mystique that we want to maintain. We want to keep that magic, even if you're backstage. We're still able to maintain the illusion of this is what's going on. You're being immersed into a completely different environment. You're not at MegaCon. You're at Hogwarts, and you're being sorted. You know, and so all the details that go into it.
With Dina and Sage this year. Dina and Sage they're my right and left hand. They're our administrative goddesses, because when something breaks and it needs to be fixed, Billy says, "Hey GW, there's something wrong," and I look left or I look right. You go here and you go there, and it always gets fixed. It's always fixed. But we put so much energy and effort into the illusion. We want them to be at Hogwarts. So I looked at the girls and I said, "Hey guys, if you're going to be where you're seen." Now, these girls are administrative wizards. They're geniuses, but they're not cosplayers. That's not their thing. But I said, "Look, guys, would you mind wearing the robes? Just so that if you're there seen, we're not breaking the illusion ever."
Yeah.
I kind of got I call it the Michael Eisner way of producing things. I don't want to see the electrical cord, but I don't want to be in the dark either.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Light it up and then hide the cord so that I think it's a vine or something that you'd see over at Disney World. Just hide it for me.
Yeah.
And the girls they're Dina and Sage. They're great sports. Yeah. So they were like, "Sure, give us a robe, we'll wear it." Well, and whatever. And they put the little ties on, and they
they look great.
Cosplay Michael was the first one to say, "You guys don't look like cosplayers at all."
Yeah.
Not at all. You guys, you put a robe and a tie on that does not a cosplayer make.
Yeah.
But he looked at Dina and Sage, his moms as it were, and he basically told them he was terribly disappointed in both of them. But they tried, and that was what was important.
Yeah.
And
it was good, and I'm really thinking, like, I'm excited to see, because MegaCon cannot ignore the fact that they needed to literally dispatch MegaCon handlers to maintain this line, because it was out of control. On Friday, backstage, and I had asked, okay, slowly and surely, very gently, let's go ahead and line up. I could hear it. There was nothing slow and nothing gentle about how these kids lined up at all. It was
No,
a
I'm pretty sure
stampede.
we put at least 3 middle-aged people in the hospital. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It may be. I don't know, because they did not care. And
Yeah.
the thing about forming a line for the first time when you already have a gaggle and you're asking them to form a line
Yeah.
is that no one wants to be second.
Yeah.
So they will trample each other.
Yeah.
There are no rules. Once you say form a line, somebody's getting an elbow,
Oh,
whatever gets me to the front
You
of the
might
line,
as well.
right?
You might as well pull the fire alarm, bro.
Yeah, it's on. And I mean, we've given you a motivation. Like the first
Yeah.
one to get there will be on stage first. So just go ahead and tackle your fellow man. It's good for
Yeah.
them. No, so the fact that we had somebody there to kind of wrangle that line from minute one before it ever started, was so important. And of course, we're bringing everything back to the table that we've always had come next year. We have the date in advance now. We've been given the dates.
Yeah.
We had the dates before we walked out of the building, as a matter of fact. They were
Oh, yeah, they were announcing it.
We had the dates before we walked out of the building. We had the dates for next year. We know we have the cast. We have new volunteers that came by the table, cosplayers in the community who came by and said, we want to be part of this. You guys are everywhere.
We want to be involved.
We want to be involved. So
Yep.
we've got new cast members that want to do things. We've got new opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Werewoman Cosplay, Lauren Ettinger has said that she would be very interested in doing professional photo ops downstairs for us. So
That's
come
awesome.
down after the show and get a professional photo taken.
We might even be able to talk her into getting some professional photos of the sorting hat ceremony itself. I bet that would be
exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
I bet that'd be great. She's incredible. She takes fantastic photos.
She's done so many photos for you. I know for your cosplay. She's done it for Michael. Some of the shots that we share when we're going to cons and we want to get into a space, we share they're Lauren shots.
And she did great this weekend too. She had her own panels, and she absolutely she had a princess story time, and she was just an absolute gem, man, an absolute gem. She's such a fantastic princess. And they love it. And Cosplay Michael and our good friend Amelia Burke, Harlequin Arts, did their story time with Mr. J. Actually, story time in Harley and Friends is what we've been doing. And wow, what they did! The kids came and sat around, and it's like very much like the Harry Potter ceremony. There's a lot of performance involved in it. They perform on their way to the venue, so that everybody wants to know what's going on. They get there. The final part of the performance is Harley's Big Escape, and we had kids chasing her down the hallway. It was amazing. So like. Amelia's fast. Amelia, she is. She bit it right in the edge of the floor. She fell right on her face. I don't know if it was a chair or one of the tables, but something got her and she went right down. And so we ran over to make sure she was. We ran over to make sure she was okay, and she popped back up and started running again. That's what Harley would do. She's consummate performer, so she just got up and went with it. But it was so amazing because, what a great performer. She's very visual. So as she's reading these stories and Robin is starting, now you have to understand now Robin, Cosplay Michael, is now 12 years old. So some of these stories are made for very small children. So he didn't have to act very much when he was falling asleep in the chair while his charge was doing it. And then she very visibly slips off her cups. And you saw these kids' eyes light up like, whoa, she got out of her handcuffs. Because before the show, I always go in like we do with the Harry Potter, and I announce that the cast is coming. And in the case of the Harry Potter, like I did Harry Potter, I always tell them the Hogwarts Express will arrive in 10 minutes or whatever. For story time, I always tell them that please keep your young children back. This is a very dangerous individual, Harley Quinn, and so. When they see the handcuff comes off, you could hear the littlest kids in the front just go, and then of course, Robin is asleep in the chair and Harley takes off and Robin wakes up and goes after her. But we had little kids running with Robin. They were helping Robin just to catch chasing Harley Quinn. Yeah. And I mean, so these are kids, they're going to have what a story to come back to school on Monday and tell your classmates, I chased down Harley Quinn at MegaCon this weekend. That's what I did. Robin. And it was amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, everybody came downstairs. They took pictures with Harley and Robin on set. Again, another set. We had set changes. We had so much
Yeah.
space, and we were able to change our Harry Potter set to a urban jail cell set. So Harley was able to sit on the bar and make faces at the kids walking by, and of course, Amelia, she's sticking her tongue out at all the kids, and
Oh yeah.
it was great. So much, and we're like I said, my mind's already spinning what we're gonna do next year, and Sage has already sent her message out to MegaCon and Fan Expo, thanking them for having us and telling them how excited we are to work with them again next year. And
yeah, 100%. Nathan says I'm about to sell my house and move to O-Town to be closer to this anarchy.
That's what I'm saying. You need to be here, my boy.
Oh yeah.
This is the place to be. We bring it, and we bring a full show. I think that's one of the reasons that you and I get along so well is that we both have this eye for we want to give them a show.
Absolutely. And we every time we want to make it better. Every time. Even if everything goes perfect, we're like, great, it went great. How do we make it better? How do we make it better?
If you're on the internet and you just want to know what house you're in, you can do that.
Yeah.
If you want to just have an audiobook read to you or your kid, you can do that.
Of course.
But when Billy and I get in the same room and we get our team together and we're in the same place, we're going to give you a performance. We're going to give you a show. We're going to make sure that it's something that you can take home and talk about and say, I just saw the most amazing thing. And it was, just an illusion. It was an hour of your life. But the promise that we make is if you give us an hour of your life, we will give you a memory that'll last a lifetime.
That's it.
And that's our job.
Yeah, and I think we were able to successfully do that on Friday with the hat sorting ceremony. We did it again on Sunday. I think story time with Harley Quinn and friends was fantastic. Again, these are those memories. These are those core memories that us as kids got when we went to an event like this, and we still carry with us today. So we're creating these memories, these core memories, and what that's going to do is that inspires not only the kids to be excited to come back, but the parents excited to come back. And when you're walking around with a 6-year-old through MegaCon all day long, having that time as a parent to relax while your kid is standing in line waiting for a hat sorting ceremony is a little bit of a vacation. So it's like if we get the kids and the kids fall in love with it and the parents fall in love with the way that we interact and the love that we give and how the community responds to it, they're going to come back too, because we have kids that we've sorted before. I recognize some of these people. They'll get sorted again next year just because they want to be part of the event. They want to be part of the community.
Build a memory, build something special that you could talk about. And not just MegaCon, Billy and I always said, I can't see how they can't recognize that we need more space. We need, we need a better, sort of venue so we can do things.
Yeah.
They have to recognize that. But more importantly than that, I think they have to recognize that we've been doing this long enough now, since about 2017, 2018, that people have come to expect this show.
Absolutely.
And they expect a level of showmanship and a level of performance that they really want to be entertained. They don't just want to be sorted. Some of them have been sorted. This is like their 18th time being sorted. They've been being sorted since they were 5.
Yeah.
But
and they want to be a part of that event. Yeah.
Yeah. They want to be entertained. They want to be a part of it, immersed in it, and have and that's what we bring to every show we do, or we try to bring to every show we do. And I'm so excited about things that are cooked up in my head right now.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I mean, both of us really find ourselves on the resourceful side, where we're like, cool, we see an empty space, we're going to fill it with success. It's like,
That's
cool, we have a great event. How do we make it better? Like for me personally, we've done the hat sorting ceremony for some time now.
Well, you've been doing it. You did it. You guys were doing it long before me. You guys were doing it on the Florida Con Artists for a couple of years before I came on board. So.
I started out as what Cosplay Michael is doing now. I started out as a side as a Slytherin, just being kind of like scowling at everybody else that didn't get sorted into the House of Slytherin.
Yeah.
So and the only reason I'm able to be Dumbledore now is because I watched Charles do it and I learned from him, and he was so good at it. And he was so great with the kids, and everybody was so good. And I just stood and I watched and I watched and I watched, and I soaked up the information and soaked it up and soaked it up and soaked it up.
And I remember, before Charles went to put his time into his job and his education, which we congratulate him on all of those successes. I can remember spending hours talking about the production of the show and the logistics of the show and the things that went into it. And so when it was my turn and somebody came and said, "Hey, this isn't happening. Can you do this?" I didn't feel daunted by it. He made me feel comfortable. And I think that's what good performers and good, people do, is they make you feel comfortable in your skin. And so when it was our time to step up, and I looked over and I remember saying to you, "Gee, can you be Dumbledore?" And you just looked at me and you went, "I'm ready to rock. I got it.
Let's do it."
Let's do it." And we never thought about it. Guys, if you're out there, you're thinking that Billy and I sat around like for hours thinking, can we take on that task? We never did. I said, there's a hole there. I think he did a good job teaching me how to do logistics and production. Can you do Dumbledore and the cosplay? And can you run the stage and get all these people wrangled? Because look, guys, cosplayers are performers. Wrangling them is a whole thing. And once I pass them off out the curtain door, they belong to Billy, and Billy's got to keep them all moving, keep cosplay Michael awake sometimes. It's it's a thing. And I push him on the stage, and then Billy takes over, and it's a dance. And it really is. And we're doing it with all independent creators. So these aren't people like we don't get together a lot and like rehearse or do anything. No. We get there on site. And I have more. I remember we brought Morty on a couple years ago. And we didn't even have a yes from him yet. He showed up and said, "Oh, by the way, yes, I'll do it." And I was like, okay. So I'm running over to Billy going, "Hey, I got another performer for you." And Billy's like, "Yeah, who?" And I was like, "The puppet." And Billy was like, "Groovy. Okay, I can do that. Love it. I can work with that. I love that. That's great." He's like, "How are we going to do it?" And I'm like, "I don't have that yet. We're going to figure it out. I'm still working on that part, but when we get up there, we'll figure it out." And it was. So, I mean, those are the things we do. Because it's collaboration, we don't always have our partners around us all the time. We don't have our partners for rehearsals or for big, things. We get together, we do it once, we screw it all up, we do it again, and we keep getting better and better and better until you've got a line with 150 people in it standing outside a window waiting to see you. Yeah. And you just and it's so humbling to think that. I remember, thinking when we first made that call and said, "Hey guys, we'll step in and we'll do this." We had a couple conversations beforehand. If we only have 5 people, we'll be ready for it.
We'll be ready for 5 people.
It is. Yeah. And, but we've never only had 5 people.
We've never had a sorting hat ceremony where we haven't had to cut the line.
Yeah. And
every single sorting hat ceremony we've ever done, we've always been like, "Okay, guys, thank you so much. We have another show tomorrow happening at 1:00. We're going to be back again. We'll be back Saturday. We'll be back Sunday," and just kind of rolling.
I remember we had a show. We had a show one year where it was standing room only in the back, and they were standing outside the door waiting. Yeah. And every seat was full.
We had our own panel room at that time. I want to say that might have been 3 years ago.
Yeah, we filled the whole room. They were standing around the back edge, and there were people standing outside waiting to see if they could get in line last minute. And I mean, it's always been that kind of a packed house. Yeah.
And MegaCon always, man, they always provide. There's always so many people. They do such a great job with promotions, setting up the family area, creating the environment that makes it easy for kids to go there and feel comfortable. Like, they always do such a great job of just bringing a healthy community, being there to support, and they recognize needs immediately. They saw right away that this thing had grown way past our staff's ability to manage extremely fast. And they saw
what was amazing to me is right from the very beginning when they first reached out and to make sure we were coming, which was in and of itself amazing. So I know so many of our audience and so many of our friends, you guys know you've worked with the convention staff before. It's so rare that you get the call. Yeah. You didn't have to they called you and said, "Are you doing this?" And so that was already, wow. That was a moment of like, I had to sit back and say, wow, we really have brought something special. This is real. And then on top of that, for the past couple of years, our team always announces all of our guests, all of our cosplayers, all the people who are going to be in our community. We always make an announcement for that. This year, they sent us an email, and in it was all of the artwork to use to make those announcements. So I didn't have to go and grab stuff and take the hours. I mean, I know we have a lot of our artist friends that are watching that it takes hours to go through Photoshop and try to take something that's already done and generic
Heck
and
yeah.
then put your own stuff on it. But I didn't have to do any of that this year because they sent me the artwork so that I could
Yeah.
announce everybody that was going to be there with
It
us.
made it very easy to make stuff like that.
Yeah,
They
did.
made
was
it
so
very,
easy.
very, very easy because they provided us all the layers. They provided us the colors. They provided us the fonts. And
Yeah.
instead of you and I having to go in and reverse engineer one of these
Exactly.
announcements and then create all of the announcements, which takes
Yep.
so much
And
time.
I don't know, guys. I don't know if that's a testimony to how good we are, or if they were just finally surrendering, saying they're going to do it anyway.
They're gonna take everything anyway. Just let's make it easy. Let's make it easy for them.
Let's make it easier
Yeah.
on them, because we have the last few years we've done it anyway. We've got whatever that year's announcement placard is, because I always felt my philosophy with all of our performers is I don't think we don't have a right to sit there and set up a space and expect the audiences to treat our staff like rock stars if we don't treat them like rock stars.
Absolutely, 100%.
And so I think it starts with us. We treat all of our teammates like rock stars. And so we always put out the placards, and we're going to do it anyway. And it's sometimes I'll cop a photo and I'll send it over to Billy, and Billy will say, "Oh God, please don't use that one. Send here, use this one." And,
Hey, let me doctor this out. There you go. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, but we always do it. So this year, though, the fact that they actually looked at us and said, "You know what? Do it with our blessing."
Yeah.
This
was by far, and I've gone to MegaCon for over a decade. This was by far my favorite MegaCon. It was awesome. The teamwork was awesome, and our partnership with MegaCon, our relationship with MegaCon, we've been building this for years and years and years. And this year we were partners. It wasn't us reaching out to MegaCon, "Hey, can we be involved?" It was MegaCon saying, "Hey, we know you guys are going to be involved. We're so happy to have you. Let us provide you with everything that's going to help you be successful."
And it was wonderful to have that partnership. And it's something that I hope we're always in constant talks with Fan Expo through the year, and we've told them that with enough notice, our team would love to do shows in other locations. We'd love to go other places and bring what we bring.
Yeah, and they've told us several times that. Yeah, they've told us several times that the quality of our performances and our hat sorting ceremony might be. Before he was programming director last year, when he was technical advisor, he said at our last show, we were backstage and he was breaking stuff down, and he said, "Listen, guys, I do this all over the country for Fan Expo, all over the country, and you guys are by far the best hat sorting ceremony I have ever seen." And this year we even stepped it up another notch. Which was awesome. Having for me personally,
this year and last year, they gave us some resources.
Yeah.
Now it was great. I walked into the community zone this year, and you had told me that they had resources allocated for us, and so I went up there, and there was a pile in the back of the family zone room. It was sort of set up, but not really, just sitting there, and it was just a pile. And I said to Sage, "Is that the stuff that they got for the ceremony?" And she said, "I think so." And I asked, "Well, are they setting it up, or are we setting it up?" And she said, "Well, they might do it because they have people who decide to do that." And I said, "You know what? No, never mind.
Well,
I want us to do it because it's our thing." And so we did. We set it up, and another one of our people who shared that room with us to do days came up afterwards and looked at it and said, "Wow, you guys you really dressed the set."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, yeah. It's performance art. We use the stage, we dress it." And he was like, "I travel with Fan Expo." He said, "I go to all these shows all over the country." He said, "I've never seen that. I've never seen somebody take the time to set the stage, to make sure that, we made sure the tables and the chairs were set so they only saw what we wanted them to see."
Yep.
And he said, "I've never seen that in this in a convention like this." And I said, I didn't understand that. My brain didn't wrap it around that. You guys do this in every city. You mean every crew doesn't do what we do?
Yeah. 100%.
It boggled my mind. But to be told by Mike and to be told by the other staff members, no, the other cities don't do what you do.
Yeah, and if they give us, as they can see, you give us the resources, we're going to use them. We're going to use every single bit that you give us. The bigger space you give us, the bigger decorated space we're going to have.
Every Hogwarts robe had a place to lay and be a prop. Everything was used. And it was just brilliant to have the resources and to be able to bring the show and to be able to be downstairs in the thick of it, the community zone, which we were offered a spot in a different location this year, which, by the way, we flatly turned down and will always flatly turn down because we are where we need to be, because that's what we are. We are a community within this greater community, and we want to be a part of that. I'd rather have 100 feet in the community zone than 300 feet somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Because this is where things happen and where people go to decompress. And we have vendors. We do sell a few things here and there. You've got some CDs. We've got some Cosplay Michael prints. We'll have photo ops next year, but that's not our function. Our function is to be a community. Yeah. These are the things that we do, to help offset gas and parking and those things. Yeah. But these are not the things. That's not why we're here. We're here to be a part of the community. So to get, when you spend a whole day and you bought a ticket to the con and you're walking around and so I always look at con life, and it always confuses me from the other side of things, from the ticket side, because I know people you'll spend a lot of money to get in the door. And then on the way in the door, you're going to pass 400 people that are all trying to get you to spend more money.
Oh, yeah.
And and it's all on stuff we love. We love it and we enjoy it. But it's like having to pay to get into the mall.
Yeah, exactly.
You pay to get in where you're going to pay more. And so every once in a while, people need a place to decompress, to hear a song, to be entertained, to take a picture that nobody's, not something hanging on a wall, just something for them.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And I think that's what we bring, and that's why we're there, is to be there for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And in between those, the hat sorting ceremonies and the story times and the princess story times, that's when we're in the streets, we're in the grass, we're guerrilla roots, we're out front, we're shaking hands, we're inviting people, we're playing music, we're doing photo shoots, like bringing everybody in. And it was really interesting. I saw, and I didn't know if she recognized me, but there was this young girl, Chloe, who had come up to the KitchenKillaz table several times. She was buying raffle tickets, she bought a shirt, she bought an album, she was hanging out, we talked, I played a little music for her, and then on Sunday she came and she got sorted. And I thought for a moment, as soon as she walked up, I knew who it was, but I can't say it because I'm Dumbledore. I'm not Billy Floyd, So I asked her what her name was, and I think there was one time where she was sitting in the chair and she kind of looked at me for a second, and just for a moment, she had that little twinkle in her eye. I'm like, oh shit, I think she recognizes who I am. But then she went right back to it. And she engaged out. It was so funny, and it was great.
Even that is so brilliant, because for just a moment, just a millisecond, she knew something that nobody else did.
Yep. Yeah, that was that magic moment right there. She was like,
oh. That magic. I know this. I know that guy. So magical. And
clearly, I'm not really Dumbledore. We know that, but it's still funny to keep that illusion going and keep that whole environment going and keep that whole thing
special.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason that you were saying, that's why we dress the set. That's why we have the props. That's why all of our staff are in robes. That's why we play the music. That's why we use everything we can do. We have the books. We have the banners. We have all the flags. We have all the houses. We have our entire staff, everybody ready to rock and roll. I'm excited for next year because I think MegaCon already had mad respect for what we did, but this year we blew it out of the water. Again, I think the most we ever did was maybe 75, maybe 80 max. 140 plus on Sunday. Absolutely bonkers, man. And MegaCon, and they've always supported us. They've always been like, what do you guys need? What can we do? How can we help? This year they showed up.
Billy and I have already talked about. I've got shopping ideas. I've got new things happening to make the pre-show and post-show even better. I'm jazzed to be back and to be doing what we do, and it's just. I just can't express how wonderful it is to watch people smile. Know that we did that, to know that we we made them have that memory, and the sense of community. People coming up from our community saying, "How do you guys? Can I get in on this?"
Yeah, and that's when you know. That's when you know you're doing something right. When people are coming up to you and saying, "How do I get involved?" This
That's
is
right.
awesome. I like your movement. I like what you guys stand for. I like what you're doing for the community. How can we be involved? And when we have people like Phantasmagoria, who is incredible, saying, "Man, we need to work together a little bit more. Let's see what we can do together." You know, Phantasmagoria is awesome.
Humbles
I
me.
love John. I've been a fan of Phantasmagoria for almost half a decade since I ever found out about them. And we were so fortunate to have them. Not only did we have them right across the way, we had Star Trek right to the right. We had Knight Rider. We had the DeLorean, Bruce Colomb, right to the right of us. I mean, we had Hanging with Webb. We had KitchenKillaz, all of our cosplayer friends. You couldn't throw a stone anywhere in that convention hall and not hit somebody that over our last decade of this involvement in the community, we've been able to
And
shake hands and partner with.
yeah, and what, it's amazing. After spending last summer completely out of the loop and coming back this year, to be able to come down the escalator and walk those alleys and where our whole community had gathered, and to look around and be greeted as a friend, as a family member, as it really was. It takes your breath away to think, people coming up wanting to know how I am or what I'm doing. Where's the booth? Everybody wants to know where the big booth is now.
Yep.
Everybody comes up to you and they want to know where's your thing? You guys always do a huge thing.
And I don't think there's another location you can go in MegaCon that offers what our booth offers. I don't
think so.
There's a lot of great booths. People offer a lot, but the variety of the things that we offer is outstanding.
And it gets bigger every year and I heard this from another vendor, which I thought was, again, an amazing compliment and so humbling. They actually ask now, some of our friends that are nearby ask where we are and how they can get close to us.
Yeah. Wow.
Can you imagine how humbling that is to hear them say? I had asked one of the local one of the car groups. I was like, "Wow, you guys got a great space." He goes, "Yeah, we asked for this. We were actually looking for you guys. We asked for this spot because it was right across from you guys." And I'm like,
"Yeah." And dude, the people come.
How do you answer that? By the way, I don't even know how to answer that.
Yeah, it's a I personally, I had such a good team this year. Michelle and Jess and Mike were absolutely fantastic with the help of Sage and Dean and Hanging with Web Show. As KitchenKillaz, we've been at MegaCon for many years now, 3 or 4 years we've been at MegaCon. I'd say the last 3 years we've teamed up with Hanging with Web Show, and we've had that shared space. But even before that, when I was just an artist alley and I had a small 6-foot table or an 8-foot table, trying to make it happen, put in your time, shake hands, be a part of the community, open yourself up, and give more than you expect, and you're going to find yourself receiving more than you could imagine. Yeah. So this year was fantastic. The team was great. As KitchenKillaz, we broke every record that I've ever had for MegaCon in regards to raffles, album sales, hoodies, follows on Instagram, social media, people that I've met, being able to grow the network, grow the community. And MegaCon did such a great job. Our spot was fantastic. Our setup and our breakdown was so meticulous and mechanical and so efficient. It was awesome. I think I was standing up taking those boards apart. I said, I need somebody to hand this hardware to. I couldn't finish the sentence before Sage said, "I'm over to your left." Bam, done. Board down, boom, board down, boom, board down, done, 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 done. We're ready to go. Give us our ticket. We're good. Let's rock and roll. So and fast, so efficient.
We got in once we were together, we got in a matter of an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It took us.
And it's a big booth, dude. That's a lot of stuff. If anybody came by and see what we were doing, they'd be like, "You guys have so much stuff," but we hit it really, really well. That whole backstage, like you said, we literally created an illusion. You couldn't even tell there was a backstage of probably 50 square feet for us to keep all of our gear and time and food.
We had a hang-up rack for the costumes for Cosplay Michael and you and Thomas.
Yeah.
We had chairs back there to sit and decompress when you need to get off the floor.
Yeah.
It really was. And then we used half of it, as a part of our photo op. So you had to go in the jail cell and through the curtains to get to the backstage.
Yeah.
So every square foot was used and maximized so that this corner is a photo op, that corner is a photo op, the entry to backstage is a photo op, the the tables are all there for vending and promoting. The music was there, the great kitchen to sit in and relax in. It just, in my head, I knew it looked efficient, but I didn't know it looked that good until I saw it.
Perfect. It was awesome.
And I had to, I have probably 17 photos on my phone and I mean, talk about patting yourself on the back too much, right? I'm walking around taking pictures of all the kitchen and the set and the music and the tables. I got pictures of that set from every angle I can imagine. I was so proud of what we had done in a matter of hours.
Yeah, and it was, and the thing is, like, it took us a matter of hours to set it up, and it took us 5 years to learn how to do.
Absolutely.
Of trial and error. Let's try this. Let's try this. When we did Kissimmee Fandom or Kissimmee Fan Days, we had half that space. We had everything that we had, but on a smaller scale. We had the kitchen set up. We had the full performance zone set up. We had the interviews for Hanging with Web set up. We had the jail set up. We had everything set up. And we thought, man, if we can do this in a 10 by 10, we're going to absolutely fantastic job with a 20 by 20. We used every square inch, every square foot. I think MegaCon was really, really happy with what we were able to bring this year. I think they were absolutely content and very, very satisfied with what we were able to provide between all of not only what we were doing at the tables and at the booth directly, but then all of the ancillary, all of this, the events, the sorting hat ceremony, the story times, the princess story times, like everything. And the whole thing, the whole idea of being able to provide family entertainment really is because these are your future cosplayers, your future convention goers, your future buyers. That little 6-year-old girl that fell in love with getting sorted on Sunday at MegaCon one day will be a young woman who's buying artwork. Maybe she'll have a table of her own, who will eventually bring her kids because she was inspired when she was a little kid with what we're trying to offer and what we're trying to do to build this healthy community. And MegaCon gives us such an incredible palette to be able to create a great canvas to be able to create this. They're so supportive. We couldn't do it without our team. We couldn't do it without MegaCon. And more importantly, we couldn't do it without the people that come up.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without each other. I mean, it's every day that we get to spend hanging out and doing what we do. Yeah. The way we do it together is a blessing because it's entertainment. So we both seen people come and go, and the community changed the way it has. But every minute that you have to spend with those people and to provide something special is a gift, and it's one that I know you and I personally feel very strongly about not ever squandering, just using getting the most out of it. And it is so good. What a great show it was this year. You hit it right. Yeah. This was the best MegaCon ever, I think. In a lot of ways. And I know on the internet out there, and I know there's a lot of talk about the scope of MegaCon, the cost of attending and the things. And there's always going to be those things. There's always going to be those things.
Every convention you're going to have something like that.
You're going to have that. But I think what's important to remember is what they gave us.
Absolutely.
For that. What they gave us an opportunity to be together and to be with our peers.
Yeah.
I was walking around backstage before the show with Michael and Sage and Dina. We were just trying to, see things that we weren't going to get the chance to see because we were working. And I met the Fonz.
Nice.
And so that I always look for those and I go, you know what? I get all this. I get everything I want, everything I need out of a con. I get to spend time with my community and my friends. I get to see people I haven't seen in a year sometimes. I got to hang out with Rick and Athena, Rick Stafford, the real Aquaman, and Athena, and chat with them about their adventures. He's always doing something off in the universe. I think it was the week before. So he's always, I get to catch up with those people. And then just to put a cherry on top of it, MegaCon always gives me a little bonus. And that was it. I got to meet the Fonz in the walkway as I was going through and say to him, I said to him, how's your convention going? And he said, it's going. He's a very soft-spoken guy, by the way. Yeah. He says, yeah, it's going pretty good for me today. It's going pretty good. Because it was quiet. It just, it was an evening kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Sage said, wow, it was so busy today. And he said, yeah. And very soft-spoken. And she said to him, oh, I don't even want to know what tomorrow's going to be like. Because, Saturday coming, big day, huge. And he looked over and he says, oh, I do. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to know what that's like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely one of those things. It's one of those things where we'll never truly understand how many people those little moments inspire. We'll never know. They don't always come up and say, "Hey man, this is what your music did, or this is what your hat sorting ceremony did for me, or this is what your story time did for me, or this is what your booth did to me." You'll never, and we were talking about this before, you'll never know how many people you inspire, how many people you motivate, how many people just assume that everything you're doing, somebody's learning from you, they're watching you. And when you talk about kids, young adults, like they're watching how we interact and they're taking notes. So don't think as a performer, as somebody in the conference, as somebody in the community, as somebody on social media, don't think that people aren't watching and learning and being inspired by what you do.
Reminder.
You know?
I think a convention like this is a reminder, because every once in a while in the hallways, like I said, I get a bonus. I get to meet somebody that inspired me.
Yeah.
And have them treat you like a peer.
Yeah.
Who, and you think to yourself, what have I done to deserve
Especially
that?
somebody like the Fonz talking to you,
dude,
talking to us like we're both dudes.
Like he's just hanging out. Like Sage said to him, I don't even want to know what tomorrow's like. And Henry just looked over with a little smile on his face and he said, oh, I want to know. I mean,
good times, dude.
He was looking forward to the crowd as much as we were.
Yeah.
And so it reinvigorates you. You just think, wow, man, if he can do this after all those years and after inspiring me and you and a generation, and he's still out there.
Several generations, Yeah,
and meeting these people. And you think, one kid that sees Morty, one kid that jams to a KitchenKillaz song, or goes to a Potter ceremony or a story time. If that kid grows up and wants to be a cosplayer, a performer, an artist, a musician, a tiny piece of that journey is ours.
Yeah.
We were there for that tiny piece, and there's nothing bigger. There's nothing better than that. There's no bigger reward.
Yeah, it's the little tiny ones too. Standing in front of 1,000 people is, of course, it's amazing and it's overwhelming, and it's so cool to see the community come out. Like it's those little tiny changes that you don't even realize that you're making. I think those are the biggest ones. There was a couple that had come on Friday, and it was this really awesome guy and this girl, and they were in really great shape. And so I was kind of talking to them both, and they were standing outside the KitchenKillaz table, and I'm talking to them, and I was asking them, I'm like, man, you guys would make great cosplayers. Like, dude was like 6'2", 6'3". I'm like, you're fantastic. They're both, I'm like, what do you guys, and like, have you guys, and the girl was like, I've wanted to cosplay for a while. I'm just a little nervous. I don't know what to do. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to feel singled out. And I said, well, if you're going to cosplay and it's going to be your first time, Saturday's the day, because there's so many people here. You're not going to feel singled out. You're not going to feel alone. You're going to be surrounded by cosplayers. You're going to be surrounded by people that are just getting started. You're going to be surrounded by moderates, advanced, and you're going to be surrounded by incredible cosplayers that are all willing to help and coach and guide and be super, super supportive. I said, so I know it's Friday right now. I know you're a little bit nervous, but I think if you came tomorrow, you would see very, very quickly that you are among family. You are among friends. And I really think that you should knock this out. And I had to leave early on Saturday, and I was worried I wasn't going to get to see him because I was really hoping that she was going to cosplay. So I'm in the backstage. I'm getting everything wrapped up. I had to leave in probably 5 minutes. I walk out, and there they are standing in front of my table, and she's in cosplay. Wow. So I walk out immediately. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I caught you guys. I looked at her. I said, you look so good. How do you feel? And she goes, I feel really good. I said, listen, not only do you look great, I was like, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you that you've done this and you took this leap, because that's not an easy leap to take. She said, I'm a very shy person, and I'm really uncomfortable. I don't know how I'm going to feel. I said, listen, you are among friends. You are among family. You're going to get your photo taken. People are going to be inspired by you. They're going to be motivated by you. I said, so I understand this nervousness. I get that. Push through. On the other side of that nervousness is something that not only are you going to crush, but you're going to inspire other people. And I looked at her boyfriend. I said, and listen, you need a cosplay too, sir. You're fantastic. He goes, I'm thinking of doing a cosplay from My Hero Academia. Next year, I think we're gonna do a couples cosplay. I said, dude, I knew you guys would crush it. And he said, listen, man, he pulled me aside. She was taking a photo. He goes, listen, dude, honestly, if it wasn't for the conversation that you had with us on Friday, she probably wouldn't have done this. Thank you so much.
That's amazing.
I said, dude,
That's amazing.
I would never tell you something that is going to put you in a position of being uncomfortable. Not at all.
And those are the moments, right? Those are the moments
That's
when
it, dude.
Because you and I had a conversation on Saturday with a young lady. No, it was actually on Friday. On Friday, we had a conversation with a young lady after Potter, who was doing her graduate thesis on.
That's right.
On her graduate thesis on the effects of literature in politics, and she had chosen Harry Potter as the university she was going to work with.
She had the questionnaire, right?
She had a questionnaire.
Yeah.
She came up to me after Potter, and she said, "Would you mind, filling this out for me?" And I said, "Sure, I could do that." And she had a couple questions on there that I thought were a little vague, and so I was telling her that, but we ended up having an hour-long conversation, and about the effects of popular culture and eventually literature on the world around us.
Yeah.
One of the things I've said it many times on my own show. I've said it many times whenever anybody will give me a chance to say it. Politicians do the voting and the signing, and that's great. Artists change the world because we point out what's wrong with it and how it can be better.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer that literature and art has always driven the conversation. And talking to this young lady who's doing her thesis, and she said to me, "Do you mind if I quote you on a few of the things that you said?" And I said, "Sure." Not that it's going to be any. Your professor won't care if you quote me. Trust me. But go ahead and give it a shot. However, what was really fascinating about it is, in addition to the look on her face as she was having a conversation in a Comic-Con that seemed to fit in her version of academia. It really was. It fit to her. It was like, hey, this is the kind of conversations I wanted to have when I went to college. And
here you are at a convention.
And there you are at a
having
convention.
Conversations that you wish you had at your university.
Yeah. And it said, but the other amazing thing about it, though, was she wanted to take notes. I have never seen a person with a full keyboard in front of them type as fast as this girl could with her thumbs. She did not miss. I don't think she missed a single word, and she did it all with her thumbs on her phone. She said, "Can I take some notes?" And I thought, "Sure. How the hell are you going to do that?" And she took out her phone, and she locked and loaded and went. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
And I was dumbfounded. I had no idea that was possible. Yeah. It takes me 20 minutes to craft a Facebook message to Billy. But this girl had a whole notepad filled,
ready to go. Oh yeah,
like a stenographer with thumbs. So for that, I know you were running. We got to be bumping up against time by now, but for that, I had to say huge shout out to that girl, because I don't know how that worked, but it was beautiful. It was a thing of it was a thing of pure magic to behold.
Yeah, man. From beginning to end, and you're right, we're actually coming up to 2 hours. From beginning to end, it was an incredible convention. We learned so much. We evolved so much. We evolved so quickly. And it really is a testament to our teamwork and our community and our experience working with each other. And like you said, we don't practice this throughout the year. The next time we'll do a hat sorting ceremony currently is next February at MegaCon. And we take everything that we learned this year, and it's like, great, next year it's game time. We know what we need to do. We know what we need to, how we need to manage it. We know how we need to set it up. We learned so much this year, and this year was the biggest it ever was. Next year we're going to be having this conversation, and it's going to be bigger than it ever was again. So I'm so fortunate to be able to work with you, Garrett, work with your crew, man. We had such a great time. I think we actually crushed it. I think MegaCon was really happy and satisfied with what we were able to bring. Seeing the kids and the parents and everybody coming up to meet Cosplay Michael and ask about his medals, and talk to Dina and talk to Sage and do the photo shoots and come up and listen to music. And, not only are we inspiring and making kids feel more comfortable with who they are, I think we're helping people feel more comfortable with getting into that level of the unknown and feeling brave and confident with capitalizing on it and finding nothing but success and nothing but support from our community, and we are products of that community ourselves. So we're not talking shit. We know.
Passion.
We are products of this community. Yep.
Passion and drive and determination, and above all, a sense of dedication to yourself and your community. And you can go anywhere for as long and as far as you want to. You mentioned it. I didn't even get a chance to shout out to, 3-time all-around gymnastics champion, Cosplay Michael.
Cosplay Michael making it happen, baby.
Making it happen. Huge. But it was such a remarkable weekend, and I am so grateful. I'm grateful for the whole team. Yeah. I do say it when I have a chance to, but it will never, ever, ever be enough. Thank you, Billy Floyd, and thank the whole team, Jennifer Cranston and Thomas Carter Rochester and Cosplay Michael. And you get to really be a giant when you get to stand on the shoulders of great people, and you are all great people.
Same. We all find success together, and I think that's why we're standing on a success at the end of a successful weekend, successful convention, one of the largest conventions in the nation. MegaCon has become. So for us to be the representatives of their family entertainment, for us to be their go-to solutions, that is such an honor. And I think every year, not only do we bring it, but we get bigger and bigger and bigger. We get better and better and better. We're building the community. We're building this hat sorting ceremony into something that MegaCon is completely blown away with. And it's the best in the nation for all of the fan expo conventions. We've been told that several times. And this year, we stepped it up again. I'm super excited for next year. I'm really excited to see how we're able to make this next year. I'm really, 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 really super stoked to see where that goes.
And I'm one last thing to those folks out there that watch you and I, and we know them. You all know who you are. We don't know you by name, thank God, but you all know who you are, because there are a bunch of you that look at Billy and I at the end of a weekend like MegaCon, and you have one eyebrow up, and you've been doing the math on your calculator, and you've been wanting to know the whole time, what's your angle? What's your angle? And here's our angle. Here's the secret to success. We don't have an angle.
No, there's no angle, man.
There's no angle. What you see right here, what we're saying to you, is what's in it for us.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Like, this is what it's about. It's about this right here. It's about being able to spend time. It's about being able to meet people. It's about being able to spend time in this community. It's about being able to grow and learn, and encourage each other and spend time with each other and really start to support and watch this community grow to where now we've created quite a movement that MegaCon had to get involved themselves to help us manage the wave of love and community that this hat sorting ceremony is starting to see. I mean, again, the biggest we ever did was maybe 75, and that was big. That was a lot. And Friday we were like, man, we probably sorted 75 people. That was awesome. I'm so glad we got to do so much. To do 140 plus on Sunday, we doubled it in the next event. So
and still left them laughing, and still left them crying, and still left them entertained. They didn't just get their paper and move on, man. They walked out laughing and joking. With a memory for life, and I can't count the selfies I took downstairs.
And they came down for the photo ops. Having Morty downstairs was fantastic. Kevin and I were talking briefly about maybe both having a couple of those microphones and doing a little shtick while we're just on the floor, just me and Morty, just talking to people as they're walking by the booth. And we were doing it in real time. We didn't have any microphones, and people were already coming by. I couldn't imagine that engagement, that interaction, because that's going to bring more and more people to that hat sorting ceremony, and more people back to the booth for photo shoots afterward.
Yeah, wait till we mic you guys up on set downstairs and have it all going live.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
And as we're having this conversation, we're already thinking of new shit to do.
Yeah. If the camera's live, they're all going to know all of our tricks before we get there next year. Because
That's right.
That's what we do. We'll just sit here and talk about what we're going to do next year.
100%, G. Dude, thank you so much for joining me, man. I'm really happy, again, on the heels of a fantastic MegaCon, super successful. The Hanging with Web team, the KitchenKillaz team, absolutely hands down 10 out of 10. Fantastic job, everybody. MegaCon, great job. We were super fortunate. Everybody we were surrounded by, Phantasmagoria, having the DeLorean, having Knight Rider, having Star Trek, having everybody. Everybody had such a successful weekend. I think that the energy was so positive. Everybody was so happy. We had such a good time. The community did nothing but grow and get stronger. And I'm super, super excited for 2024.
I'll be there, brother.
Yeah, man. It's going to be awesome. Give all my love to the fam. And
I surely
Garrett,
will.
let's catch up a little bit tomorrow. I'm going to go eat for the first time today. That should be fantastic. And I will talk to you soon, my man.
All right. Love you, brother.
Awesome. I'll talk to you soon, G. Tell everybody I said what's up.
Will do.
Later, bud. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight, man. I know we ran a little long, but MegaCon was an absolute amazing event. As you can hear, we couldn't say enough great stuff about it, and a big part of the reason we were able to find so much success is because of you guys. Your consistent support throughout the year, your consistent support throughout the years have encouraged us and motivated us and allowed us to continue to grow, continue to evolve, and it's because of your support, it's because of your love, it's because of your inspiration that allows us to give those same exact things back to our community as well. So a huge shout out to the Hanging with Web crew, to the KitchenKillaz team. We had a great MegaCon. A huge shout out to MegaCon, everybody who joined us for the hat sorting ceremonies and all of the events that were tied into the family entertainment at MegaCon this year were second to none. So super honored to be a part of it. Super honored to meet and see so many people this past year at MegaCon. Some friends that I've had for over 2 decades came by, some new friends that we made. We raffled off some guitars. We played some music. We told some jokes. We had some great times. So you guys have a good night. Thank you for joining me for this wrap-up. Wednesday, 7:05, we have a private Patreon show. We're going to get a little bit more into what is happening with the KitchenKillaz and the KitchenKillaz world. There's always moving and a shaking. And this Friday, I'll be streaming live on Friday night at 9:05 from a beautiful kitchen in Puerto Rico. We're going down with some friends to celebrate the 40th birthday of our good friend Chris Chapman. We will be there with some of the KitchenKillaz crew as well. Be sure you catch it Friday night at 9:05. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you Wednesday at 7:05, Thursday from 7 to 8 o'clock. I think I might be in Puerto Rico then. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Always moving, always shaking, always growing, always evolving. I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you. Have a good one.